Hi. Long time no see. What's up, family? Welcome and welcome back to another episode of Look at the Material podcast, where at this point, it's basically a themeless variety show. I mean, I've talked about everything on the show, like love and loss and life, blackness, health and wellness, music, pop culture. I mean, I really don't leave a stone unturned. I honestly just love asking questions about life and talking about them with you as I discover things along the way. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, BK, and without further ado, let's look at the material. So today I'm going to be talking about the different ways that capitalism literally sucks the life and passion out of the work we do, and specifically the work we love to do. For me, that's massage therapy and, quite frankly, podcasting. And just a warning, these are my thoughts and my opinions. And as always, I encourage discourse and dissent as it comes. So first, let's start off with Look at the Material podcast, the podcast you're listening to right now. If you've been following me for a while, I started this June 30th, 2020. So it's coming up on 3 years, which is also my birthday. So yay! But I started to kind of lose passion about 6 months ago for this as I was focused on streamlining and growth. Those of you who are growing a following online, a brand, whatever the case may be, you probably slipped into this rabbit hole of following gurus, growth gurus online that kind of update you on the trends, trending sounds, hashtags, SEO. And they all have a lot of philosophies on how you should grow your brand. The tricky thing with that is that there's a lot of hustle culture and grind culture that is cloaked with creativity. So because this is work that you love to do, this is something that comes easy to you, maybe it started as a hobby and someone told you could monetize it, there's this unspoken rule that you really have to be almost automated. You have to hire a team, you have to pay for automated services to appear as if you are always online, like this never-ending presence online. There's a lot that comes with that. And I think that there is this glamorization of content creation, influencing, or even doing something like podcasting, because what you see is the final product, right? Behind that goes ideation, editing, there's overhead. If you're hiring people, what's your ROI? What is your SEO? I mean, all these things really sent me into overdrive when it came to LATM and how can I get more viewers? How can I get more eyes on this, more listeners? How can I expand? How can I make money off of this? And I feel like as soon as profit margins came into the conversation, as soon as exponential growth and post every day, batch recording came into the conversation, I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I literally started this because I had a lot of shit to say. As I was a senior in college, I was in my mother's closet in Houston. And I was like, I have a lot to say. And my partner bought me all the equipment and I just started yapping. And I just recently remembered, like, I just want to get to the core of that. I want to get back to the fact that I honestly, like, if I never picked up the mic, I would just be talking about these things. Like, my friends and family know this about me. I just am always talking about something. So I'm trying to get back to the casuality of it. I don't know if casuality is like a word, the casual nature of recording, and just reminding myself that this is a passion project. But I will say that when I started focusing on numbers and views and hashtags and money, I was just like, this is not fun anymore. And actually, one of my favorite content creators, Justin, who is King of Reads online, was saying that he was having a hard time finding hobbies or discovering what his new hobbies are because his old hobby used to be content creation. And now that he does it for work pretty much every single day, and he uploads sometimes multiple times a day, I'm sure he has a team and things like that, it's not his passion anymore. It's not his hobby anymore. So that just goes to show, or that's just another anecdotal example of, as soon as you make it your job, as soon as you are opening up a fucking Google Calendar and having a never-ending content list, it starts to become labor. It's a labor of love, but it's still labor. Of course, as I was focused on growth about 6 months ago, I was inspired by people who I saw that seemed like they had this never-ending presence online. I'm like, how do they do it? I want to recreate their process. And then you get into the weeds of it and you're like, I literally have two options. I'm a one-man show, one-woman show, and I'm literally putting in hours and hours and hours of creative labor into this without getting any pay from it, because sometimes you have to hit, YouTube just changed it to where it's now 500 subscribers to where you can start monetizing, but it used to be 1,000. 500 is still a lot. Same with TikTok when it goes to going live and adding links into your bio. So there's a lot of groundwork of free labor, free creative labor that you're putting in. And like I said, I think creativity is like this veil that the hustle and grind culture hides behind to say, oh, this is what you love to do. It's just propping up a camera and saying what you already were going to say, or recording your drawing process, or recording your sewing, your creation process. That's fucking labor. And the fact that we glamorize that or gaslight creators into being like, it's really not that much work. All you got to do is post it. Stop worrying about being cringe. It's like, okay, well, some people may be worrying about being cringe, but others are like, wow, this is just a lot of fucking work. So you either go the one woman show route, or you dig into your pocket and you hire an editor, you hire people to add sound effects and please the algorithm. Like, we're either talking coming out of your pocket or doing all the labor by yourself. That is something that only a few content creators I follow talk about. FD Signifier comes to mind. Fab Socialism comes to mind. Justin, King of Reeds come to mind, where they're very transparent. Like, this is labor. This is work. And so I know we're all trying to find this balance between what you love to do and getting paid for it. But there is some sort of level of dehumanization that comes with that. I think just the commodification of labor in general is dehumanizing. The fact that we don't have universal health care, we don't have guaranteed housing, guaranteed food, water, things like that. We have to hustle for everything that we have. And so it's difficult to think beyond just doing your 9 to 5 and saying, oh, I want to start a creative endeavor as well. There's just so much that goes into that. And I found myself running into that rut of like, I'm tired of doing this labor and also I'm not getting paid. So where do we go from here? Also, something that I want to say, like, we're not robots. I feel like the creator economy, as it's been coined, and just the space of content creation is super new. And so we're not really taking data on how automated content creation has to appear. So like batch recording a bunch of videos in one day so that you can post multiple times throughout the week, seeming like you never took a break. Auto posting. There are so many apps. Later comes to mind where you load in pre-recorded batched content and you schedule it out so that you don't have to do the work of posting. Okay, but you have to do the work of batch recording. You have to do the work of figuring out which day you want to post and things like that. So I don't know. It's just, there's so much to get into when we talk about digital creation and the commodification of that. And also the seemingly automated process when really there's a real human behind that camera or in front of that camera putting in hours and hours and hours of work to get you your final product. I would call it kind of mass production and mass consumption of content. So we want to binge, the consumer wants to binge and have the endless scroll, which was introduced to us by big tech. So creators, real humans, not fucking ChatGPT, not AI, like real humans are having to satisfy that need. And I feel like that's why I see some of my favorite creators that are at the top of their game being like, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I need a vacation, I need a break. Because it's like, yeah, you're on go and everything is content, everything is content. You know that fucking sound, you know that sound. Where it's like you could be walking to get your groceries, you could be walking to get your coffee, and that camera better be on. Even like back to the growth gurus, like they would say that often, everything is content. So like if you're not making a reel or a carousel or a static post, talk to the people on your story, interact with, other larger creators and comment. Like there's so much upkeep to this. And I wish that instead of a glamorization of that, of like, this is just what it takes. This is just what you have to do. And like, hey, it's fun, it's easy. peeling back the veil and being like, this is labor. And a lot of it is uncompensated. And I can see why you may not want to post. I can see why you may not want to start, because it may seem like you're inconsistent when really we're not robots when it comes to creativity. You need breaks, you need time to observe. And the algorithm and the endless scroll just doesn't really make room for that. And to loop it back to capitalism, the endless scroll and the refresh button and mass consumption and mass production of digital content is a symptom of a capitalist society. Like, there's this insatiable beast that capitalism creates that says you can have everything on demand when you want it, how you want it. And it's difficult for creators to keep up with that without having massive teams. And who's paying those teams? Are they getting paid adequately for the work that they're putting in? Is the creator themselves getting adequately paid for the work they're putting in? Like, we think of creativity as like, oh, I walk outside the door and I look at the tree and I'm inspired and I just create 500 posts. That's just unrealistic. It's a capitalist myth, and it feeds into grind culture so subtly, but insidiously. I mentioned that Justin from King of Reeds talks about his burnout all the time and how creating used to be a hobby or a passion and now it's just work. Tiana at Fab Socialism also talked about this in her HelloFresh video essay, where she talks about, you know, content creation and the glamorization of that, and how content creators really aren't making that much, even if their numbers appear to be what we would consider large followings. And with that, having to accept unethical brand deals, because at the point that content creation is your full-time job, you have to say yes. You rarely can turn down brand deals unless you're like at Jackie Ina's level, or, you know, you've got multiple millions of followers and you can afford to turn things down. But that's something that I was thinking about as well, is like the conversation of integrity when it comes to the creation of content. Like, are you actually being authentic, or are you just saying this to pump out another video so that you can turn on your AdSense so that you can monetize that video? Or lack of authenticity when it comes to accepting a brand deal and saying, oh my God, I love this product, like it's helped me out so much, and that not really being true, but you really need to accept that to cash the check. There's so many conversations about integrity, authenticity, and purity when it comes to creative content. But that is something. So next I want to talk about how this need to put exponential growth and the bottom line and the hustle first killed my passion for my business, Kind Body Therapy, which is a mobile massage practice. So I still have regulars, I still have people that are my day ones that see me once a week, once a month. So we're still up and running. If you want to book, please book. But when I was focused on securing clients and how am I going to get 20 clients a month, and I need to have oh my gosh, same thing with the growth gurus in the business space. Oh my God. You need to have a hook at the end of every post. Every single post you make, every story post you make needs to be reeling somebody in on a new session that you have, a new service that you have, something that you're offering. Like the constant pitching and constant selling online, we just talked about the labor that goes into content creation. Like, think about, I'm doing such a physical job, right, with massaging people. So I'm doing the labor of doing the work, and then the labor of recording the work and posting the work, and then the labor of doing the accounting and SEO, and what am I actually putting in versus getting out on marketing materials and things like that. Like, it is so much for one person. And entrepreneurship is another thing, just like content creation, that is so glamorized. It's easy. You can do it. All you got to do is be consistent and put your head, discipline. It can just be a lot of work, bro. Like, it can just be a lot of work. And I understand that in a lot of these situations, that's just what it takes. But let's say, wow, that's kind of fucked up that's what it takes. That's kind of messed up that it takes a 9 to 5 and a 5 to 9 to have a passion and have a full-time job and still pay my bills. it's just too much. And like to that point of having the 9 to 5 and 5 to 9 and that lifestyle being glamorized online, especially by like entrepreneurs and people that are trying to sell you a course, we all go show up somewhere, whether it's remote or in person, a manual labor job, a digital job. We all exchange like our physical time and body for money, right? And so it's difficult, especially for me. I'm pushing and pulling on bodies all day and of course exchanging energies and things like that. But in order to make really what I'm worth, I do have to go into private practice. So I've just been in this limbo because if I was fairly compensated at the spa that I work at, I probably wouldn't think too much about starting a private practice. You know, I think if a lot of people were compensated what they were worth in their main job, they wouldn't have to pick up a side hustle. Or maybe they just don't like their main job and they want to do something that they want to do. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you is like as soon as you turn that hobby into a side hustle or a job, it's work. It's labor. Like it's not funsies. You can't just like do whatever you want whenever you want, make your own hours, things like that. Make your own hours really translates to I work it whenever. I work around the clock, 24/7. I'm gonna say yes to that client. I'm gonna say yes to that lead, whatever the case may be. Like it's a never-ending cycle, hamster wheel, if you whatever you want to call it, of constant labor, and it's just exhausting. Personally, for me, when it comes to podcasting and when it comes to massaging, all of this stress and strife over like how can I mesh my passion with money, with making money, is all a symptom of a coercive system called capitalism, where you have to work in order to live. There are no guaranteed safety nets for you. So you have to make money somehow. And so it's harder to just do things for the sake of passion's sake, because you're like, I could be making money right now, or I could be preparing for the next day right now. You know what I mean? It's just something that I've been thinking about as my productivity declined with the podcast and with promoting my business. I still have great work that's still up. I still have great customers that still book with me and listeners that go back and listen to old episodes and things like that. But it's just got me thinking, like, as soon as you cross passion and work, passion and money, passion and your bottom line, you're going to suffer somehow, because if you wait until you're passionate to do the work, you're not going to get paid what you need to get paid, right? And I think that that's messed up. Like there's people that say passion will only get you so far, consistency is going to get you over the line, which is true. However, where does that come from? Like, why can't people just get paid for the passionate work that they put out there? You know what I mean? Why do I have to get to 500 subscribers in order to monetize the labor that I'm putting in to make this video that you're watching? You know what I mean? So a lot of questions here, a lot of conclusions to be made, I think. I think right now I'm just definitely slowing down, definitely just picking and choosing where my energy is going. And for my own sanity, this will always be a passion project. If down the road I have a lot more leisure on my hands, you know, we'll see about how monetization will work. But for now, I'm just gonna post when I want and what I want. There's been a lot of people asking like, oh my God, like, where are you? Why haven't you been talking about things? And it's just like, oh my God. We have primed society to be so like, things need to be on demand. Like, where's season 2? Where's episode? Like, what? Like, why can't I binge the whole season, you know? And some of us are trying to keep up with that. If that's your grind, if that's your vibe, I'm not shitting on you. If you love to wake up and do a cold shower at 5:30 in the morning and work your regular job and then work your creative job until 9, 10 at night, and then you do your fucking skincare routine and you drink your green. If that is you, I'm not shitting on that. It's just not the average person. And do not glamorize that and say, I could do it, you could do it too. I mean, I think we should have more of a, this is my experience, this is what works for me, instead of pressuring folks and saying like, it can be done so you can do it. I mean, I could, you know what I mean? But it shouldn't be an issue of like, you're better than people because you love the grind. I want to touch your hand when I say this. You're not special. You're just a love child of grind culture and capitalism. That's it. It's nothing new, right? Like pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, craving work, craving busyness is just a symptom of living in a capitalist society. It's not new, it's not fresh, it's not unique, and it doesn't make you any better than the next person. Okay? And that's not me throwing shade. That's just a pill that we need to swallow, especially the Black excellency crew, just Black people in general that feel like we have something to prove, okay? Like, I am very much in the world of Black mediocrity. My friend Grace did a wonderful exhibit on this of just Black rest and the Black mundane. Like, we should be able to sit our asses down and be that. That's just my little 2 cents on the grind girlies, because like I know some of y'all crave that shit. That's great. But to kind of glamorize it and to say, this is what it takes. I'm a part of the elite. I'm a part of the top percent that gets up and dunks their body in an ice cold motherfucking, yo, chill, bro. Like, chill, bro. So yeah, so my first episode back in like 6 months. And I love that for me. I've been tending to my new house, my lover, myself, my friends. It feels great to be back behind the mic. I always love going on a long hiatus and then being like, hey everyone, what's up? It feels so good. I love this. I love when I can do this just because I'm passionate about it. And for that reason, my goal is no longer to make this my full-time job, because that will require a hustle that I am not going to subscribe to. But I'm grateful for the people that have stuck around, that still get my vibe, still get my POV, and I'm gonna be listening to this whenever it drops in a couple days. So yeah, let me know if you want a part 2. I have like a whole second part of this script that is remedies for stolen passion. I just didn't want this to be too long for my first episode back. But let me know in the comments or in the DMs. I don't know where this is gonna land. I don't know where this video and audio is gonna land, but in the ways that you know how to reach out to me, let me know. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. LATM is about to make 3 years in 2 days, June 30th. So very excited that I'm returning back to love, returning back to passion, and just returning back to my roots. So I'm going to finish my lovely drink here in my crystal glasses that I got for 50 cents at the local Goodwill. I also thrifted this top. It's a little silk top. I've been on my thrift shit lately. That's all. Ugh. Yeah, we're gonna have to go to a part 2, because like the first thing I talk about is the habit of like sitting your ass down, the habit of like creating a relaxation practice. Thrifting has really been like, I will literally like smoke a little devil's lettuce and go and lose myself in a thrift store. 10/10 recommend. But yeah, that is how capitalism hit a lick and stole my fucking passion. I hope you guys followed that. I followed a loose script, but you know, I'm just kind of working the kinks as I get back into the groove of recording. I love you guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.